what you got. Oh, I can't see tomorrow. Gotta live, try to get a little wiggle room, the rest don't stop. Quid pro quo, I need the best y'all got. Tryna make a dollar, flip it like it's vinyl. Tryna make a way. What's it worth to you if the price too high? Quid pro quo, I need the best y'all got. Give me your best. Don't take nothing less, cause I'm giving you 100. How you always leaving me with nothing? I'm not impressed. It's gonna take more than this, cause I'm giving you 100. And I don't even know if I can trust you for nothing.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, everybody? Look at you, all showered and ready to rock this morning.
Showered, ready to go. Wait, I'm still not connected.
I'm telling you, man. So y'all, I cannot be more. I'm literally going to introduce and get rolling because I'm going to let him have as much time as we can get him. So, good morning, Vanessa. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Anne Marie, Kristen. Vanessa, you're number one in the door this morning. So, congratulations, atta girl. I am doing my best. Good morning, Lynn. How are you? I am doing my best because I want to make sure that y'all get it. That y'all just know who this dude is. So let me introduce. Let me start over. I'm gonna go. Baby, I'm just gonna go in here and jump in this thing. Good morning. My name is Aaron Dwyer.
Aaron's excited. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We got you. I just want to shut up and let him talk. I've had a run. I've done my meditation. I've done some affirmations this morning. I am rocking. I've only had like 3 sips of coffee. So y'all, I am fired the F up this morning. I'm not joking, y'all. I'm so excited about this. So let me do this. My name's Aaron Dwyer. As you can see, I know I always say that I have a wife named Christy Dwyer. She's actually here this morning live and in person. There she is.
I'm not like a fake makeup thing.
She's not a fake. I'm not Mental Tayal. What was his name? Tayal, the Notre Dame guy that had a fake wife. Nope, she actually exists. We are the broker owners of Exit Realty Lake Country. We started Exit Realty Lake Country as an attempt to create something cool and to create something magical and make a difference in the real estate business. So every single morning, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, we get on this call with you guys to share some love, some laughs, some fun, motivate, hopefully help you have a good morning, because we know if we can get you off to a good start, let you have a good morning, man, the chances of you having a fantastic day go up exponentially. And if we can string enough fantastic days together, you guys, we can create a fantastic life. So that's what we do. That's why we're here. And man, I'm so excited to bring to you guys Brian Covey this morning. And Brian Covey, if y'all don't know, if y'all have not looked him up, man, this dude.
Can I add him? Can I add
absolutely him? Can. Absolutely, yeah.
There he is. He actually does exist.
He exists. Brian Covey, good morning. Welcome, man. Thanks so much for getting up here. We messed up his schedule. He told me, he said, I'm usually working out this time, but I haven't reframed my brain. So, brother, thank you for being here.
I would encourage you to start earlier and work out earlier.
Right. Okay. It don't happen this morning either way.
So let me real quick before Brian jumps in here, because obviously his brain is like, y'all, I'm telling you, you're going to be so blessed this morning. Brian lives in Franklin, Tennessee. We met Brian at the Puerto Rico Mastermind. We keep telling you guys that our levels of connections have elevated. I have volunteered Brian for something that he didn't know he was being volunteered for. So hopefully this is the first step in many. But Brian lives in Franklin, Tennessee. He is a former D1 athlete, pro soccer player. He now is the executive vice president of Revolution Mortgage. The guy is just an absolute beast. And the cool thing about it is, not only is he a beast in business, he's a beast with his heart. He's a beast with his love. He's a beast in how he goes about doing what he does. And y'all, the fact that he's here this morning, I'm telling you, I am excited. So Brian, I'm going to let you have it, man. As you can see, we've got about probably 13, 14 people here right now. There'll be some more that'll wake up in a little bit and get rocking. But man, it's all you, man. Just take it and run with it.
I love it, man. Thank you guys for just the honor of joining. When you said that yesterday and after we connected last week, I would echo the same. And for those of you that were not there last week, I will tell you guys, when you get into rooms around people and there's energy shared and you start to share common beliefs and you realize that you all are on this mission together, and we'll unpack some of that today, but you realize that you're a lot more connected than you're not. And your mission and what you're passionate about, when you start to share that and to get around other people, I have this core belief that we'll touch on some today, that proximity fuels your purpose. So think about that, as your proximity is going to fuel your purpose. If you're around the wrong people, we all know people that can drain our energy. We see them call on our phone and we look down and we're like, I don't want to answer that call. Or you end up 10 minutes into a call and you're like, how do I get off of that? Okay, let's set that aside. Let's think about the people that actually we want to see them call. When they text us, we get excited about it. And so I'll say that for Aaron, for you, when you texted me, I was like, yeah, dude, I'll move some things around. We'll fix this up. Like, I know how much you care about your team. When you and Christy shared last week about everybody you get to work with, what you guys are going through, and you're like, hey, I'm tagging you in. Will you come in? I'm like, I'm in.
It's so awesome.
I think that's what this life is really about. And so if you start with, a lot of us, we kind of intertwine, when I was thinking about what you asked me to share about this mission and purpose and some of these things you guys are going through, I'm going to take you back a little bit of, I grew up in Memphis, right? So those of you that know the 901, I'm not too far away from there now. And I always thought my dad was probably the best example of someone that was on a mission. And he is a Christian psychologist. He works with pastors and he does all these things. But I remember as a teenager just watching him, and he was always on this mission of making people feel better, making their lives better. And he was always someone that I'll tell you, being a pastor, he was always telling people about Jesus and God, right? Like he was always, that was just any conversation he had a chance, that was his mission. And you can see that not only in his work, but when he was on the field working with some of us, when he was in the church, out of the church, doing that. And so I would just reframe that back to you guys. Like, what is your mission? What's your mission? And a lot of times we'll confuse purpose with mission. And so I'm going to separate these. In my studying of these two things, it's kind of interesting. I love to study and learn. And purpose is really your why. Think about why you do something. That's your purpose. And one of my coaches talks about, what's your burn? What is the thing that you get up every day that really fuels and motivates you? And it's your why when you get into the tough seasons of your life. Or let's be real, when you wake up and you don't want to do something like the workout, Aaron, you did, going running. There's things you don't want to do. You don't want to make the calls. You don't want to follow up and do the social media and marketing. You don't want to do whatever it is that day. Your purpose is going to be all around your why, which I think anchors what's there. But let's talk about what your mission is a little bit too, because I think these two, when they're in alignment, you're going to find this really beautiful synergy of how your purpose and your why and what's fueling you. And then you have clarity of what your mission is. And that's really what you do. Like, what is it that we do? And I think about this question all the time. Have you guys ever been to I would say like networking events or somewhere, like even last week, Aaron and Christy, people would walk up and like, what do you do? For the longest time, like I would struggle with like, what is it that we do? And if you got a pen and note paper, like I love to jot things down, I would think about those. And do you know what your purpose is? And do you know what it is that you do? Because that's your mission as you move through life. And we'll take you back a little bit and then we'll kind of unpack these even more. Is always think about when I was growing up, part of my mission, even though my drive and all this was to play soccer, and you mentioned a D1 and all that kind of cool stuff, and I got to play a little professional, which is always fun. What I noticed through sports is the best athletes, I think that'll correspond to what we do as professional, I would say corporate athletes now, is they knew what they were doing being an athlete, and it was showing up early. It was staying after practice late. It was during the practice they had intensity and they did the drills, they did the exercises, they ate well. They knew all these things that they did. They treated their body and their mind in such a way that they could perform when it was time. And they were these athletes. And I always think about that as the mission that you're on. Do you know what you're on? And then do your actions back that up? Because many times, I think for a lot of us, we kind of go through motions, right? We go through these motions of, do we really know why we do what we do? And then we know what we do. And so I'm going to go back just a little bit because I've given you a lot just to kind of set the framework for today. And the reason I share all that is I just want to make sure we're on the same page as we intertwine these words. I hear them a lot of times used together. When I think about a mission today, many of you guys, we might say, oh, we sell real estate, or, in our team, in our company, we talk about we do mortgages. But it's actually, we have a coin kind of phrase of it's more than mortgages. And I would invite you to consider you're in real estate and you get to help people accomplish their dreams. You're a marketer, you're a problem solver. Many times you're helping people figure out a situation that they are under such stress and what they're going through that you really become the counselor and the psychologist and all of the things that are there. And so that is really what you do. And if you can define that clearly of what you do. And what I landed on for my own, I'll just kind of share this so we can kind of have this dialogue back and forth and pop things in the comments there as we go along, is I realized that I help leaders build a ridiculously successful life by building their teams and having clarity in not only their mission and their purpose, but we allow them to do that inside and outside of the office, right? Doesn't have anything to do with mortgages, doesn't have anything to do with all these other things. But I think that's where we find alignment as we go through in our own journeys. And yesterday I wrote about this. So if you're on Facebook and all this, check out, there's more to this. But I realized something as I've been studying some mentors and some people in my life that are very successful. They have these two components that I think is why their purpose is on fire and their mission has such clarity in how they're able to have success regardless of the market. And let's be real, right now we're probably all thinking, Brian, well, have you seen where interest rates are around 7%? Have you seen where the inventory is an all-time low in the last several years? Brian, have you seen that people, I think it's now close to half of the country has an interest rate with a 3 or 4 in front of it or less, right? So like we have all these dynamics. Home builders have slowed down on the permits, all these things that are there. I'd invite you to consider go back to think about what it is in our purpose and then our mission and how do we help people solve these problems. So studying all these people, I'm just kind of writing notes. Even last week, I'm paying attention to, okay, what are these common traits that people have? The first one was clarity. And we mentioned clarity a lot, but clarity, I would tell you, is just as much what we're going to say yes to in our life. And think about what you're asked on a daily basis to say yes to. All the kind of shiny, flashy objects that come in. But you also need to think about what are you going to say no to? What are the things you're going to say no to? And just this week, I'll give you a real example. As I was invited out to Las Vegas, I was going to be speaking with a group there, and it was going to be leaving on a Wednesday, coming back midday, around 1 o'clock on a Friday. Well, the things that we have going on, I thought, man, can I really be away for that long? And that for me did not align up with what my mission is and what my purpose is right now. And so I said no to that, even though it could have been a good opportunity. It's as much as what we say yes to is what we say no to. So think about that as you have clarity in your business. And the other part would be writing down an exercise for you. Actually, something to take away is, have you written down what it is you do, why it is you do what you do, and who it's for? That target audience, the clarity of what's there. And I shared last week, and Christy and Aaron know this, we talked about how we want to attract people into our life. The law of attraction, you probably read about that, is as you start to share your beliefs, what it is you do, why it is you do what you do, why all this is so important is you start to share that and connect with people, your clients and people you want to work with start to appear. You start to have better conversations. You can also identify people that you go, that isn't someone I want to work with. That isn't where I'm going to spend my time as I go through. And so clarity for you is going to help you in all of your decision making. And I believe that's where the good to great journey for many of us is. Look, a lot of times we just don't have clarity. We don't have a process to make decisions. We don't know what our priorities are. And I would tell you to really be on a mission, you're going to need that clarity. So number 2, man, I love this one. And this was really, I learned this from my dad, and I've learned this from some phenomenal athletes I was able to play alongside, and really some mentors I have in my life, is the best people today, the second trait is conviction. Conviction. And I think about some people, like they're sort of on fire, they're sort of in it, but they're not really convicted about what it is that they do. Convicted in such a way that they're willing to overcome any objection, any obstacle, take on anything that comes in their way. They're willing to figure out and say, you know what, maybe I don't have the right schedule or routine today, but I'm going to fix that so that I'm going to have success. I'm going to help my clients create success. And in our world, I would tell you right now, we need more mortgage brokers, mortgage consultants, more real estate agents. We need more of us convicted about how do we help people actually move through the real estate journey and make the right decisions. You see, too many people today, I believe, they're just going through the motions, and it's so transactional, right? We see this as they're just waiting for the market to correct, waiting for interest rates to drop, waiting for something to happen. What if, just hypothetically, play along, what if we had such a conviction that we had conversations and we started to really unpack people's dreams, their desires, what it is that they want to accomplish in life? And it wasn't just about inventory, interest rates, prices, and things like that. And while those all matter and they factor in decisions, I think about living a life that you have such clarity and then you have the conviction to go out to serve and to help people. You see, this is another belief I'll share with you that I've learned is we are, all of us listening right now, whether you're live or listening to the recording, we are uniquely equipped to serve the people we once were. We are all uniquely equipped to serve the person we once were. And so I think about myself as a teenager in my 20s, 30s, now in my 40s, all those things. And you think about for each of you, if you have kids or you're a single parent or you're an agent, you've been in the business a year or 10 years, whatever it is, first-time home buyer, maybe you do investments, all those things. Think about your journey and your experience. All of that experience has been built up, and I believe you've been uniquely gifted with that so that you can serve and help who you once were and where you were. And think about this, said another way. If you were to talk to yourself 5 years ago, 10 years ago, wouldn't you have some pretty killer advice about, hey, here's what I would do right now, knowing what I know now, and that is the group that you want to serve. And so when you have clarity of that, and then you have a conviction about how you share it and the energy and what you bring and the passion, you are unstoppable as you go through this. And I think many times we want to try to serve this market that we don't really understand, or we just want to go out there in many ways, like we just want to serve everyone, right? Like it's so cool. I'm going to go online. I'm just going to serve everyone. Guys, when you get clear about who it is that you're uniquely equipped to help, you understand their situation, you've been there, and you can guide them through better than anyone else because you have that experience. You've lived it, you've done it. Now you have a conviction and you can help people. And look, those are the people in my life. And I started to write these 2 traits down, and I was making all these notes and all these things, and I just kept coming back to these 2 words. And I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool if we had more people in our lives and more of us showed up with such clarity and such conviction that we were there to serve people, and our purpose was alive, and then our mission was on such point that people knew what it is that we do, how we did it different than everyone else, and they knew our beliefs. You see, that's what's going to attract the right people in your life. That's what's going to differentiate you from moving from someone that they just look at as, let's say, a mortgage loan officer or a real estate agent, and now they look at you as someone that's truly a friend, a trusted advisor, and someone they want in their life for years and years to come. And so I believe that is what is there. So I'm gonna leave you this story, and then I'm not sure if we're able to do questions. We can throw stuff in the chat. Feel free to do that. But I believe this is gonna be kind of fun for us. You know, go back to in my college days, and I'll share this with you guys because I think hopefully many of you can relate. Is I was actually a goalkeeper, and for many of you, if you watch soccer and you know how that goes, goalkeepers are typically prototypical 6'4", 6'5", these huge guys. Aaron can attest. Like I'm 5'9", 5'10" with some shoes on, right? I was not the prototypical goalkeeper. And I was told for many, many years in high school and even in college that, hey, this is probably as far as you're going to go, Brian. This is as far as you're going to get to go here. And I had people placing limiting beliefs on me all of my life from outside. At the same time, I had people in my life, like my dad, some of my coaches, that were telling me, Brian, you can do anything that you want to do. Now, you're going to have to work harder, right? Like, let's be real. You're going to have to work on your speed, your foot skills, your understanding of the game. You're going to have to watch tapes. You're going to have to do all these things to acquire all these skills and to have this unique experience. But you can do whatever you want to do as you go through those things. And I'll never forget, as I got to college in my freshman year, there was an opportunity to actually get to start. And I was able to start all 4 years. And that was not something I was told by several people that was even possible, right? One, because of my size, but 2, college, you're going to have to figure it out, all these things. And I share all that story with you because if you go on and read, and you can see some of the cool things that I got to do, is in your life, there are people that are placing limiting beliefs on you today. There are people that you know that you need to cut out and set them aside, and they don't get as much time or much influence in your life as you go forward. And there's people you need to invite in your life today and going forward that are going to believe in you. They're going to see the greatness inside of you, and they're going to fuel your purpose. They're going to fuel that mission that you have and give you clarity. And what I realized and why I'm sharing that story is no matter what it is that you want to do, if you have a dream and you have something that's placed in your heart, I believe God does that in unique ways for each of us. You need to be relentless at how you pursue that. And that clarity and your conviction that's there, no matter what it is in life, you need to lean in on that and surround yourself with people that are going to fuel that for you. As I opened up, I told you, one of my beliefs, I've been sharing this quite a bit lately, is proximity is going to fuel your purpose. I'm going to ask you, do you have the right people in your life that's going to help you fuel your purpose, that they have proximity to you and access to you? If not, you can make that change today. It's one of the greatest changes I believe you can make. And the second one is, do you have clarity and a conviction about what it is you do, why you do it? Once you align these things up, let me just tell you, through experience, through some pain and trial and all these things of learning, what I've realized is when you get set on fire and you're doing that, nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you. Your business starts to grow, everything starts to become in alignment, and you start to really enjoy what you do, and you get to live this, what I call ridiculously successful life, and you get to make the difference that you were called to do.
Man, I tell you what, y'all, Brian, I'm telling you what is amazing. Just so you guys know, Brian and I have not talked outside of, hey, dude, can you be on this call with us in the morning? And him saying yes. We've had no conversations. We've talked about, the only thing I said is, because remember, we've been going through this Grant Cardone's 10X rule, right? The 32 things successful people do. We happen to be on the day 21, which is be on a mission. And I said, hey, this is our day 21. This is where we are. Be on a mission. That's it. And he comes with this goal that he's giving y'all this morning that is, it absolutely lines up y'all, when what God puts together, no man can tear apart. What God puts together, no man can tear apart. And us being, y'all, I met my wife in Toronto, Canada, by the way, right? I met Brian Covey on an island in Puerto Rico. And this dude is bringing some, I'm not sure if you heard this, but the things that Christy and I have been saying to you for going on 4 years, he is coming and reiterating the same thing, using the same words, saying the same thing. Christy, I know you're busted at the seams because you never get to jump in here and talk. So I'm going to let you unmute your mic. I'm going to mute mine. There's so many things I want to unpack, but I'm going to let you have it, Christy, let you ask questions, let Brian talk some more, and then we'll go from there.
Well, can y'all hear me okay? My AirPods wouldn't connect. I swear Satan was trying to stop everything.
You're good. Just talk.
I'm still missing 2 dogs this morning, but I'm going back through just your notes. First of all, Brian, thank you so much for coming on here today, because I know that our group of agents is gaining, they're changing after this one call. But I'm going back through your notes, and you said 3 words last week that I literally, as I'm going back through the notes that I wrote down, because I was just going crazy when you were speaking last week. Protect the space. You said those words, protect the space. And in the section he was talking about, and you said, you touched on it briefly today, but talking about your time and the time that you're spending, because our goal for every one of our agents is that they do spend that value add time every day. And I talked to them last week after your day, actually, when you spoke about the mission and what Nicole said about where we have to be so committed to the mission and to attract people that are committed to the mission. And you had mentioned something about your social media. So I want to give the people on here today something to come away from that's very tactical and practical that they can use, which is where you talked about your social media posts, and you talked about the way that you present yourself on social media is truly who you're going to attract. And you were talking about it from a leadership standpoint, but I truly believe, just like you said, even for our clients, they are seeking trusted advisors. They are still seeking leadership. Okay. So can you elaborate a little bit about, because the protecting the space was kind of in line with protecting the time. I mean, it really was about, you talked about your family calendar, the shared calendar, and you know, how everybody knew what they were doing. And then you talk about the time and focusing your social media content on the mission. Can you kind of give them just a touch of something you would recommend with regards to them posting on social media about attracting? Because I think the most important thing is we can spend, and so many of us have done it, time with people that just aren't our people. And then we spend so much time trying to convince them that they like us and that they want to use us, only to find that as soon as you're not available to answer the phone call one time, they pick up the phone and call somebody else, and they call you 2 hours later and go, oh, well, you didn't answer your phone and I just wanted a contract on something else. I mean, we've had that happen recently. Can you kind of share, because, and all that is the result of you attracting people that just aren't your people. Can you kind of touch on that just a little bit? Because you're so good at that.
Well, and I'm still learning. And I think what we were sharing last week, give you guys some context of the protect your time. If you're writing down notes, like I know some people are note takers like myself, and saw you guys writing there, is something my coach and I were talking about is we hear this phrase, I don't have time. And we actually took that a step further. I would write that, I don't have time, and in bold, to waste. I don't have time to waste. And none of us have time to waste. And what I realized is, the old sales tactics were, we're going to make all these calls, we're going to do all those things, and those have a purpose. When I realized through social media, what Christy was referring to there is, I realized when I started to post things out on social media, and I'll give you a real example here in a second, but I started to talk about things that I believed. I started to share things about my family and what my kids were doing. And you'll see very quickly, right? Like we like to go snowboarding, we do a lot of soccer, we do a lot of outdoor activities. You'll see, like yesterday, I took my youngest, he got out of school early and we went on a lunch date. Like I'm posting all these things. And one, it's the intention because I want to create memories and I want to have those memories that are there. And two, I also believe when I share those things, people know, okay, Brian's family comes before his business. I mean, that's the truth. That's how I've chosen to live my life. And then you'll see things when we go out and do adventures. Well, what I've realized in the soccer space is there's so many soccer parents. Many of you out there, you're probably like, yeah, I've had a kid go through and play soccer. And I have people reach out to me all the time. They connect with my background, and how this works is they go, oh, hold on, Brian's not just a soccer dad. Brian played soccer. He's a soccer coach. He played professionally. They start to connect these dots. And now we have stories and experiences that are connecting. And I'm more than someone that's just in mortgage or more than someone that's just in real estate. And I start to share it. Well, let's go another layer deeper. About 3 years ago, I got very serious about my own portfolio, about investing in real estate and multifamily and all these things. Well, instead of keeping all that a secret, which many of us have done, I've done it in my past, I didn't share it. I started to go online and talk about my experiences and what I was learning. Well, that attracted people that were further along in the journey, that one, were willing to help me, two, other people that had potential investment opportunities, and then three, it was bringing people in that had questions like, hey, Brian, how are you getting into like this investment side? And why are you buying properties in Florida? Why are you doing, like, can you help me? Look, this month alone, I've already had probably 5 referrals that have come to me through social asking, because I'm very intentional about talking about investing and how you can grow wealth through real estate. And so what that'll do is you start to post those things and you back it up over time, is you become known as the person that they trust, right? They know, they like, and they trust you. They ask questions. And I'll just throw in one of Grant Cardone's things that I adopted several years ago. Grant always says, best known beats best.
Yep.
And man, for the longest time, I was all about getting better in my skills. I was all in on just Brian getting better. And yes, that is important. We all need to get better. I wasn't focusing on this other piece of, well, I need to be best known. And I think about this all the time of, if there's a table of 10 agents sitting there and the customer has a choice between all of them, the only way they get a seat at the table is to be known, liked, and trusted, either through social media, a direct referral, they've worked with you in the past, they've found you some way. Our job is to get a seat at the table. And so, Christy, I'll land the plane with this is, when you think about what your purpose is, that's your why, you need to be sharing that, because people will connect with your heart before your head. But secondarily, your mission and why this is so important is, what do you do and for who? When you can share that over and over and over in a way that's not salesy, it's not, hey, I want to sell your home. Hey, I do this. No, add value and education. Right now is such a unique opportunity. And if you need help with this, I'll be glad to share. But the media has it all wrong. We all know this. You need to make the media the villain and all the people that are online today and talk about how they were wrong in 2008, how they were wrong in 2015, and all the data they're talking about today is just not factually correct about why it's not a good time to buy. It absolutely could be a great time to buy for you. if you get the right information and you have the right guide to walk you through this, right? Because look, guys, I believe right now, sellers, you know this, let's get tactical. Sellers are selling right now and they're willing to give closing cost incentives, pay things to help out the buyer. We all know those things are there. So you can get a property that's not at list and you guys can negotiate all that through. The other part on the mortgage side, let's quit talking about where rates are. There's plenty of programs that you can work with that rate and buy it down temporarily, permanently. All of these things exist. We need to be solution oriented and make the media the villain, right? Because somebody needs to be the villain in the story. It isn't us in real estate.
Right.
We're trying to help people.
Right.
So I would land in the plane, say, the more you talk about this and you can move people emotionally and then back it up with facts and results and testimonials of who you've helped and how you can help them, that's how you connect with people. That's how you can move them forward in their journey.
I
Love
love
it. So
I'm
let me
going to
jump in
show
here.
Kristen Ritchie's
Yeah.
question.
Yep.
Can you
Yep.
see that, Brian? So I'm just throwing up the questions that are coming up.
Let's dive in it. So one, shout out, Kristen. My wife was an ICU nurse for over 10 years. And so I have some very interesting thoughts about this one. One of my best referral sources was my wife in the hospital as I was originating and doing loans. So what I would share with you is think about you as a nurse and you have this experience, right? That you've been there. And that would expand beyond nursing. That's doctors, that's people that have come in that trust nurses. I would use that experience in how you care for people and how you can assess a problem and help people make decisions quickly, right? Like I think about that's your superpower moving into real estate. So I would start to share that and almost lean in and create this brand around becoming an agent and what you've done as a nurse, why you did it, right? Think back to, we talked about your purpose. Why are you doing what you do? And I bet there's something inside of you, just knowing my wife and how she served, in the ICU, is you really want to help people. And I've seen like the way she takes care of our kids, the way she can deal with stress and pressure and things when people are injured or going through that, it's phenomenal. It's very different than me. Like I can deal with difficult conversations and make, big decisions, but you're uniquely equipped to help people. So I would share that story. I wouldn't hide who you were as a nurse. And I would share that as you go through, because you're going to have nurses and people in the medical field that probably relate to you and go, oh man, like I can connect with you, right? Think about my soccer journey and what I share there.
Yep.
Share where you've been and what you've done. And I would even look, this is my marketing brain. I would even get some photos done and some things and kind of start to brand yourself and have something about that and come up with some things that brand what you learned as an ER nurse that correlates to real estate, right? What are the lessons, like the top 5 lessons you learned in the ER that could apply to someone going through today? Because look,
that's so good.
You're going to crash. You're going to have issues happen. You're going to have injuries that happen. You're going to be dealing with crises, right? Sometimes you don't know you have a problem until you go to the hospital and figure out your problem. Like all these, like the marketing side, I would start to lean in. That's how you'll attract people in.
Kristen, you need to go back and watch that again, because I'm gonna tell you what, there was 4 or 5 nuggets in there that are absolute gold for you. Because when he was talking, I saw and even Brian, what you said before you answered her question specifically, he was talking about this A word that we talk about all the time,
Attraction.
authenticity.
Oh,
sharing
yeah.
sharing who you are, sharing what you do. Y'all, we get into this habit of, and we talk about this all the time. 90% of the agents do 90% of the same thing all the time. They talk about what house they sold, they have it under contract, they just sold it. Look at me with my key in my hand. Look at these happy home buyers. You see that all the time. That's not where the difference is. The difference is in that 10%. And what Brian just shared with you is that 10% differentiator, that you become authentic. You share your authenticity. You share who you are outside of being a real estate agent. You share if you're a hockey parent. You share if you ride rodeo. You share all these other things that you do, because what he said is you are uniquely equipped to help people who you are, not only who you used to be, but who you are.
Yeah.
That's the secret sauce and the connection. That's the know, like, and trust. Y'all, if you ride bulls, you automatically connect with other people who ride bulls, right? Those you have this thing that you can talk about, because Brian did what he did and does what he does, because we do what we do. We are uniquely equipped to connect with the people who do those things. So y'all, I hope you understand that is stinking gold right there. And if you'll take and just just BT dubs. I'm not sure if y'all, again, one thing I will encourage you to do, and I read this yesterday, I'm going to say it again, is you've got to research people that you want to do business with. You've got to go. The internet is an absolute plethora and a gold mine of information. It's a gold mine of information. And Brian, just so you know, I listened to your podcast episode with Chris. Was it Chris Helton?
Oh, yeah, well,
That you guys did. Michelle, Chris Welton has done 75 Hard. He's done David Goggins. They actually talk about that journey on that podcast. One thing I took away, Brian, just so you know, and y'all, I'm telling you, I wrote this down, and this is us. One thing that he said, and I don't know if you said it, Brian, or Chris said it, was we are a coaching company that happens to do mortgages. We are a coaching company that happens to be in the mortgage business, y'all. That's what Aaron and Christy, that's what we are doing. That's what we are building. We are a coaching company that just happens to do real estate.
Right.
And yesterday when I heard that, I'm like, that's it.
Well, when you said that, I'm going to jump in here because when you said that yesterday, I was thinking, I actually used that phrase last week whenever I was talking to the agents, maybe on the call that I did that you were whooping Brent in golf, was the day before he whooped you in flip-flops. But
you win some, you lose some.
It was, we're what we're doing, and we define our mission of whatever that is. We impact lives. We are changing lives. We are loving people authentically. Oh, and by the way, we also sell real estate, so and that's what the focus is. And y'all, I'm just looking back through my notes from Brian. I think I probably have as many notes from you as I do from anybody, because this guy was just gold out of his mouth last week. But the top 25, when you're talking about the people that you want to do business with, and you talk about the way to attract the people, because I think that probably our agents are sitting here thinking everything he's saying is great, but how do I get those people wanting to interact with me? How do I get on their radar? Can you share that? Because I think that was the top 25. And you made a comment about microphone to comment in the post. I made this comment, microphone to comment in the post ? And I think I meant to ask you what you meant by that, but of how you did that. But talk about that just for a second of how you do that.
Yes, if you go back 5 years ago, you'll see I didn't really have a great social media following, and I wasn't that active, honestly. I was just kind of getting started doing the videos and all the stuff that we're all afraid of, wherever you are in the journey. It does get easier over time, I'll tell you that. But I was trying to figure out how do I enter the game, and I was posting quotes and doing that. Well, I discovered this real secret, and I've shared this, is I go back and I'm one of those, I love to look back and review what worked. And one of the things is that top 25 list. And your top 25 list is going to include everybody that maybe you've helped sell homes for before. Maybe it's leads in your pipeline. Maybe it's other agents that you like to work with. Maybe they're listing agents at, new construction, things that are there. It's your CPAs, financial planners, all these people in your sphere. It's people that support you, that maybe will give you referrals. All of these people that are on social. What I did is I started creating a top 25. And these were people that I wanted to engage, and I wanted them to be in my life more. And so what happens on social is the more you engage with them, obviously the algorithms play in your favor. You see more of their posts, they see more of your posts. So it's this kind of reciprocal thing that happens. So tactically, here's how it works. You write down your top 25 list. Every day, what I would do is I would go in the morning, and I would find as many of those top 25 that had posted on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Those are my platforms. We can talk about why another day, but I like those for me. And I would go in and comment, not 1 or 2 or 3 word answers or responses. I would start to let them know, and I may say, hey, Christy, I love what you just shared here. Here's my experience with that. And as I started to do that, I'm typing it out. And I realized this hack was I'm typing, and I misspell stuff all the time, and spell check comes up and corrects me. And it just takes me a while, and you get frustrated and all these things. So I'm like, how do I remove that? Well, on your phones, you all know you have this little microphone when you're posting a comment. And so what I realized is it was a superpower now to go in. I would press the microphone, and I would just respond to a post or a comment as I would normally have a conversation. And it would type it all out for me. And 90% of the time, it was exactly how I thought. It was spelled correctly. All these things were great. And 1, it saved me time. 2, it sounded more conversational. So that was my top 25 every day. I go in the morning. Sometimes I go in the middle of the day, but then I would go in at the end of the day. And my goal was to get to all of those 25 people in a day. So imagine if you were prospecting like that every day, months and years go by. my network now, if you look at the social following, it is all because I just went in, and people will tell you, it's one of the pieces of feedback I've been given is, Brian, we love how you make us feel when you post on our posts, you comment on our posts, you support what I'm doing. Guess what, guys? We all love to be validated. And when people support us, we have this inherent desire, or kind of, we want to support them back. So when you start to do this, this is now what I believe, I call it modern day prospecting. I'm probably up to 50 people today. I'll just tell you, I've moved to where I can do this at such a speed. And if you want to know how this works, I'll break it down very tactically for you. I think about every 30 seconds to 45 seconds, I can comment on somebody's post. So you can do the math very quickly. In 10 minutes, if I'm jamming, I can get to 20 people probably, 15 to 20 at least. Imagine if every day you commented, engaged with 15 to 20 people to start your day and made them feel better about themselves and validated who they were.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't post anything yet. I've now engaged on them and their posts and made them feel good about themselves.
Yep.
And
Imagine.
think about the ripple effect of that, y'all. Think
Yeah.
about the people that are not only, you're not just engaging at this point with the person's post, you're engaging, or you're opening your potential for engagement with the other people that are commenting on that post or that are seeing that post. So your visibility is incrementally growing in a positive way. And again, the people that you are wanting to attract, if what you're putting out there on social media is your core beliefs, your core values, your vision, in alignment, your actions must be in alignment with your mission and with
Yep.
your vision, you're attracting those people just by engagement. Think about that. You don't have to pick up the phone and call people. They are literally seeing you. And again, you're adding value. You're not out there going, oh, if you know anybody who wants to buy real estate, call me. No, you're literally adding value to this person's post and enhancing them. And as John Maxwell says, right? The way to achieve your goals is to help more people achieve their goals. The more people that you help achieve their goals, the quicker you get to your goals. Wow.
I'll add this too. This is real life. Last night at my daughter's soccer practice, and I'm talking with some of the dads and some of the parents that are there and all that. And one of the folks that's there, and their daughter's on the same team, doesn't really engage in a lot of my posts, but I engage in his posts. And then we were at a showcase, and I sent him some videos because he wasn't able to be there. Sent him some videos, right, of his daughter playing, because he had asked me to do that once before. So I just volunteered and did it, right? Sent him some videos of his daughter playing and all that. That's an easy way to give. Now, fast forward to tonight, or last night, he starts asking me questions about real estate and about mortgage and things that are there. He doesn't engage in my posts. And so I don't want you to think people that don't comment on your posts or engage, you still don't know the reach you have. And so a lot of people, we want to tie it to how many likes, how many comments. Look, all that stuff's going to take care of itself. Don't forget about this real life example last night. He's asking me questions about mortgage and real estate, and he doesn't engage in my posts. Like, I engage in his stuff. And so you just want to be relevant. And this exponential effect, Chris, you said it, is don't forget about when you comment, how many people see what you are sharing. And if they resonate, that just might be at the point in time that they have a question or decision they need to make. And they go, hey, I just saw Brian, or I saw Christy or Aaron, and they commented, oh wow, they do real estate. Okay, I'm going to call them today. I have a question. This happens every week. When you get good at it and you build your machine over time, this now just becomes prospecting when you're asleep and you're not even really prospecting, but you actually are.
You're muted.
So
Yeah,
good.
there you
I
go.
know. I just realized that. So good. Thank you. Thank you for that. Does anybody have any other questions? I'm just wanting to look up right here.
Yeah.
Me
Anybody
and
else?
Garrison
Y'all,
just,
this.
I don't always remember what someone says or does, but I never forget how they make me feel. And that's
Yeah.
what he's talking about. Just making people feel valued, making people feel seen and heard.
And it's
That's
so
good.
easy, Brian. Y'all, and just so you know, this you guys need to kind of do your background, do your research, because that's the thing that I realized last week, Brian, is I really don't have a top 25. I don't really even obviously don't have the clarity, because Christy and I were talking about this the other day. The clarity piece, who I want to work with, who do I want to be a part of this, who do I want to be a part of what we're doing moving forward. That's a super important thing. I mean, that literally is the most important thing, right? And and clarity of vision, that really does, knowing where you're going, knowing what you want, knowing exactly where you're headed is the most important piece of the journey, right? The chaos and the confusion that ensues when we don't really have an idea of what we're doing. We just kind of meander along and we wander through the wilderness. That clarity and that conviction, y'all, that I cannot tell you how powerful that is to what you're doing. So y'all.
Can I say one more thing? And I'm sorry, I just want to say one more
can.
thing. So when Aaron was talking about us talking last week, we struggled. I mean, we were literally, and Brian, you were already gone. Thankfully, you weren't there when everybody got sunburned and forgot that they had like body parts that were being exposed to the sun that we didn't do sunblock. My back was the part for me. But we were talking about how do we add, because so many of us feel a level of inferiority. Okay. No matter how, Vic Keller stood up and said, every single day I get up feeling inadequate. Every single day I have to push through my own feelings of inadequacy. And for those of y'all that, and you'll hear about Vic later, because we're hoping to, maybe we'll get, he's my spirit animal. So
he is your spirit animal.
But we talked about how do we add value to someone's life? Like Aaron and I were struggling with, how do we add value to someone's life like Brian Covey? How do we add value to his life? Okay. And all he just said is exactly how you do it. You go out there and you make them feel like you care. That is how you add value to anyone's life. Because no matter how successful, no matter how wealthy, no matter how big the rest of the world views them, humans deal with feelings of not being seen. And I feel like especially the wealthy, they deal with feelings of not being seen for who they truly are, and they're being seen. And that's where this whole group that we're part of now, they completely reverse engineer that. It's not what can I get from somebody, it's what can I do for somebody. And even that smallest thing that he's talking about right now, just going out and making someone feel special for who they truly are as a person, just who they are, not what they can do for you, not what they've got, not who they are, but who they are. So thank you so much, Brian.
That is
so one more.
And we overthink that, but I'll just tell you guys what you'll realize is most of the people you're wanting to attract, you can't get them a gift. You can't do anything super fancy. Although I'll give you 2 tactics that have worked. If you want to know, just like extra bonus here is I love sending books to people. Last week, there were a couple of folks as I listened and I realized, like, you know what? I enjoyed this book. You could send a book. Look, I mean, it's less than $25. Super simple. Get their home address, mail it to them off Amazon. I mean, it's really simple. And the second one, I had a friend, if you're wanting to meet with somebody to bring someone in, that next level client, I have a friend that's been using that, Chris, who was on my show, and he sends a lot of people, if you can find out if they're guys, it's easy. You can do like Jordans. If it's a female, find out what kind of shoes they like. Maybe it's your golden goose or whatever.
Red and black.
Or whatever it is, right? You send them one shoe. And then you send a note with it, letting them know, hey, I'll send the other shoe when we connect up. I thought so much of you that I wanted to connect up. And this other shoe, I really want to deliver to you, but I would love to grab 15 minutes of your time. I wanted to get your attention. I hope this worked.
That's awesome.
That's really good.
I mean, that's a bigger client. I've done that with some people we wanted on the podcast. So I just give you that because like extra bonus stuff that we're doing that, take it for what it's worth. But outside of giving gifts of confidence and making people feel good, there's some other tactics for you.
Who wouldn't come on your podcast after? I mean, because that would be a conversation starter just at the podcast. Like, I'm here because I wanted the other shoe. Like, I literally was held hostage.
Awesome.
I had one shoe. Like, I'm walking around with one shoe and I had to come. That's awesome.
So I Brian, just so you know, I've got to get out of here in just a second. But
we got to get
two questions. Two questions. One, of the 3 social media platforms that you comment on, is there one you've had a better response with? That's from Anne Marie.
Yeah, they're different. So what I would tell you is Facebook, I get more of friends and the feel good kind of engagement is what I call it, where people, you don't even know that they're seeing your stuff, but I've got that algorithm built up where I love Facebook for that reason of, I think it's a very warm audience. And then I've also been able to scale it because once you get to 5,000, you cap, but you can have followings there. And I like it because I think it's people know me, like me, and trust me. I get DMs in there, and that works well for me on Facebook. I do post a lot of family stuff on Facebook as well. You'll see that. So that's really my strategy, is how to connect with people, their heart and their home on that platform. You move over to Instagram. Instagram, let's just call it what it is. It's more about the flash. It's more about the videos. I am sharing my core beliefs. I'm also sharing a lot of video because people want to scroll and watch video. And for me, that's a way to get into their feed and for them just to see me on a repetitive basis. And a lot of people will move into the DMs, whether we're giving out free chapters of my book, or we'll give out a free rental analysis of the market or a real estate report card. We give out a lot of stuff on Instagram, but it is more of like, I just play over there to get the visibility. That's how that works. LinkedIn is very professional. What I found on LinkedIn is it's the third, and I love it. I've been on it the longest. Is LinkedIn is where people are really serious. We typically hire people from that, or I'll have people that come in the kind of coaching side of they want some things there, but it's a professional platform where you're not getting outside a little bit of spamming on the DMs. You get some really qualified and interested people that I would say for investment opportunities. I found a lot of my people that want to invest, they come from LinkedIn. But be on all of them. I just repost it all. I don't recreate different content for each platform, by the way. Like my personal stuff on Facebook, I mean, it's just a picture like, me and my son or my daughter or my wife or something. It's pretty basic.
And then one, Shay asked a question. She said, how do you make your presence as an agent more known in the community? And I think, I'm going to let you take it. I'm not going to even answer it.
Yeah. There's multiple ways. One, Facebook has a lot of groups. You need to be in those Facebook groups, showing up quite a bit that you're there. Two, I would be active in your church, your kids' sports, where you go. I've talked about this. There's a book called The Third Place you want to check out. So like my gym is a great place for me that I get a ton of referrals from. And I'm at my gym, look, depending if I'm in town, 3 to 5 times a week. I see the same people. A lot of them either want to buy or sell real estate. Some of them are real estate agents, financial planners, all of that. I think you want to be in your community. And then find events in your community that you can go to. Like in Nashville, I'll be sending you guys this. Aaron and Christy, there's an event coming up. You might know about the SOAR event in April, and I'll be speaking at it. You want to find out about events in your community, fundraisers, charity events, and all that. You just want to show up in your community and be there. And I tell everybody, if you go to your kids' sports games and different things, you go to church, like shake hands, be personable. Yeah. Don't just show up and go to it. I think that's where you go. But read The Third Place if that's something. Your third place probably is where referrals are sitting today. You just haven't engaged deep enough there yet, but that could be something you could do.
And so I want to jump in here. I'm going to say this because this was from last week as well. Shay, remember, incremental, not monumental. It's what you do every single day that has the enormous impacts. And what happens is because we do something one day, we don't see immediate results. We stop doing it the next day. And we stop doing it the next day because we don't see immediate. We want it to be a big splash. And so, Shay, I'm going to encourage you, especially you new agents, be who you are, but be who you are every single day. Be consistent in your messaging. Be consistent in what you're putting out there. Be consistent in what you do every single day, because this little thing, a snowball that creates an avalanche and rolls down the hill and blows, those little cartoons where the snowball rolls down the hill, it starts this big. And what happens is we fail to realize the power of momentum. We fail to realize the power of compounding. We fail to realize stacking those little blocks and those little blocks and those little blocks create the building that creates the monument, right? So incremental, not monumental. Brian, thank you so much. I've got to get my kid to school, and I know you got to get.
Thank you so much. Look, he's never going to let us do this. Bring him on again if we don't let him go work out.
I know. Thank you again. Thank you again, y'all. Y'all were sitting in the presence of a genius. So I hope you know that.
Thank you,
Brian. Thanks so much.
See y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all. All right. What an amazing speaker. So y'all, we're going to let y'all go. Aaron's going to go. I got to go. I still got to go find 2 dogs. They're
y'all
MIA. Love y'all.
So listen, just so you know, you hear us say things all the time. And sometimes it turns out, sometimes it doesn't turn out. I get it. When we tell you that we have upgraded, I want you to do your research on Brian Covey and just understand what this dude has done, what he does. Okay? This is an upgrade of the utmost proportions. So just understand that, y'all. Banging. That was freaking awesome. All right, be good. You're muted.
I said, be good, be great, be you. Bye.
Love y'all. Bye.
Love y'all. Bye.